All-day fireworks as the Tour came to the Pyrenees, breakaway GC raids, Jonas, Vingegaard putting the hammer down. This was from Pau, which has a stage nearly every year, to Lorraine. This is a repeat of the stage 9 in 2020, where Pogacar won his first Tour de France stage. We have the Col du Sud all-category climb with 20 KOM points, a valley with a little Cat 3, and then the Col de Marie Blanque with the last 4.5 Ks at about 10% average before a descent and a bit of flat. So the Finnish wood riders like Alaphilippe trying to get in the break to win, or even Jonas, Vingegaard's teammate, Wout van Aert. Would it be a GC day? Would Tadej, Pogacar and UAE chase all day and go for the bonus seconds and maybe even the stage? And the break fight out of neutral, EF wanted to be in there with Paulus. They got Uran in eventually. Quickstep wanted Alaphilippe in there. Jumbo wanted multiple in with Wout van Aert jumping. And then a group would go. And look at this. Alaphilippe's up the road, and Asgren's bridging the break across because there's one Cofidis rider trying to bridge, whereas he should let that guy go. And then, Alaphilippe's fighting against a smaller break. That gets brought back. So jumping for 20 Ks. Ben Turner, Ineos trying to get in. Even this is Tadej Pogacar jumping, trying to get in the breakaway. He's got Nathan van Hooijdonk, that's not Vingegaard, marking him. Jumbo-Visma got riders up the road, and Vingegaard, you see him down here, he's shaking his head. He starts to panic a little bit. He's looking around, where are my rouleurs? Van Aert's on the other side of the peloton from him. Who's going to chase this down? Pogacar's move doesn't go anywhere though. Eventually this first group goes. That's not the break, because the second counter group goes with Van Aert. And Jai Hindley is just at the end of this move. So Jai Hindley sneaks into a breakaway with multiple Bora Hansgrohe teammates. This is the break, not the peloton. 35, 36 men deep. Ciccone with Pedersen and Juanpe Lopez, Van Aert, Laporte, Benoit, and Jai Hindley with Conrad and Buchmann, but they didn't really know he was in there yet, and this was what was curious. Jumbo eventually realised Hindley's in there. UAE are frantically chasing behind, and counter moves come from Jumbo with rouleurs with Hindley not in them, and UAE shut down the counter move. So the fight from between UAE and Jumbo trying to bleed each other benefited Bora Hansgrohe with Hindley and Buchmann. And you see Hindley's the first time here, you see him on camera, he hid very well in the break. This break suddenly gets out of control, and once the other rouleurs are pulling and Staker Langen's in pull mode with Bjerg having a mechanical at a bad time, the gap's at 90 seconds, and Bora can kind of manage it even when another counter move of rouleurs, non-dangerous ones, go, and Soler's chasing full gas. So obviously the word from UAE's directors was, do not let Jumbo in the break and we're not represented, but that lets Hindley and Bora Hansgrohe, and to the same extent, Jumbo-Visma couldn't get a group ahead, so they had to deal with the problem, or maybe bluff the problem of Jai Hindley, because Quickstep, with them not being represented in that counter move, they chase as well. So a lot of tactics in place. Some teams caring about GC, some teams wanting the stage, other teams not wanting to relay from Buchmann. Eventually this move goes ahead before the Soudet. I would say Pedersen was trying to anticipate so that he would be maybe in the valley afterwards to help Ciccone, but they never got big enough leash because Cavagna shredded the gap trying to bridge Alaphilippe across to this group on the longest climb of the day. But Juanpe and Trek had other ideas. Pedersen was dropped, and they went quicker than the peloton, the breakaway on this climb, because Juanpe paced so hard. And UAE weren't panicking at this point. They actually put the rouleurs on the front, and they were happy to let the gap go out. And especially the last 2.6 Ks, it really did go out because the big guns, or the slender guns, Gol, Ciccone, Inle, Martinez, they started to move on the top of Col du Sud. Gol takes maximum KOM points, but you see here, Martinez sprinting, Hindley's just there. He's not getting involved in the shenanigans. He wants primarily probably to take a GC gap, but also the stage is available with a very, very suitable climb for him at the end. Benoit and Van Aert come back. Hindley pushes the brake on the descent, the best descent it looked like in the breakaway, but he's got a problem. Bora Hansgrohe, in this next valley, we basically rinse and repeat the situation before Soudet because people don't want to go to the final 4K 10% climb with Ciccone or Hindley. So Jorgensen will run, Neylands, Haig, they start anticipating. Whilst behind, UAE sort of managed the gap. They wanted to get their rouleurs to pace the flat Bjerg and Langen over that Soudet climb, so they're still there to pace the valley. The problem for Jumbo and Van Aert is they anticipate again, but they leave Ineos behind. And so frailer paces for Martinez. And so Bookman here in the bottom right of screen, he's been able to keep his powder dry to a reasonable extent because AG2R had no interest in letting Van Aert just go up the road with Alaphilippe, same with Ineos, and it was the same situation with Quickstep before Tadej. And so they bring him back, and we're on the Tadej now. Asymmetrical climb, and when it gets steep, Clément Berthet, you write his name down, he lights it up for Felix Gall, who goes clear with Jai Hindley. Those two were the best climbers out of the breakaway. And now UAE getting busy with Großschartner and Micah. Still a big group, but they're pacing now as the steep section begins hard with Micah. Pogacar's talking to Adam Yates, and eventually Jumbo-Visma come to the fore. I don't know whether Kelderman pulled, but Van Aert dropped from the breakaway. He pulls, thins the group to 10, and then Sepp Kuss, who did the Giro d'Italia and saved that GC for Primoz Roglic on stage 16, goes into full shred mode, taking the group from 10 to 8 to 5, whilst Hindley drops Felix Gall. This is a stage to watch in full, by the way, if you've got the time of the last 50Ks, with Hindley going clear. We've got breakaway action. We have the GC action now, with Kuss reducing it to 3 with Carlos Rodriguez dropped. And so we know one thing is coming. An attack from Jonas Vingegaard is imminent. Kuss is looking back to see the damage he's laid out. And here it is, the first time Jonas Vingegaard's dropped Tadej Pogacar on a climb like this. This is no Mont Ventoux or Col du Granon. He drops Pogacar, who can't even respond to his move. And the breakaway riders are scattered all over Marie Blanque. And this is big numbers. They went nearly 1.5 minutes quicker on the steep section, on the whole climb, compared to 2020. Hindley went super fast as well, having been in the breakaway all day. He makes it over the top about a minute ahead of Vingegaard, who puts 36 seconds into Pogacar on such a short climb, with Kuss dogging him in his wheel. And Hindley has the stage wrapped up. How much time would he take on GC? He was obviously very good on the technical part of the descent, but Vingegaard catches up to Ciccone. And so he now has guys who maybe will give him a little pull or two. He even collects Felix Gall and tries to corral him. But they couldn't help him too much. I mean, he was super aero, and he was probably pushing harder than guys who'd been in the breakaway all day, and Pogacar was left on his own with Adam Yates and the group behind, eventually catching him with Gaudu, Simon Yates, and the best of the rest. But the day's spoils went to the West Australian, Jai Hindley. Huge win for the former Giro d'Italia winner. Vingegaard rolled across the line about 36 seconds later, with Pogacar losing over a minute on stage 5, the first what we could call mountain stage. But an absolute masterclass from Bora Hansgrohe, having the cojones to get in the breakaway, taking the stage, but also the Maillot Jaune. It is the stage, Hindley winning ahead of Ciccone, Gall, Buchmann on 32 seconds, then Vingegaard, and a big gap to Schelmoser, Martinez, Pogacar, Gaudu, and Rodriguez. Hindley now goes into the Maillot Jaune about 47 seconds ahead of Jonas Vingegaard. And so how will Bora play it this week? Now Ciccone moves into 3rd, Buchmann's in 4th, Pogacar's down in 6th on 1:40.